Thank you for having me here. And what I will be talking about is not on these slides, so maybe you can... It is? Indistinguishable from magic. Right, thanks to Petra, not thanks to me. Anyway, the indistinguishable from magic is what we think of Stockholm. We'd like to be Stockholm something, a very smart city, and any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, as Arthur C. Clarke put it. So, anyway, my talk will first point at some facts that I discovered when I looked at Petra's exposition of what the automagic city should entail. And then I found a ranking list where the Easy Park group looked at different factors on the right, what is in a city, and tried to rank all the cities. And Stockholm came out third, so that is great. And one of the factors was how does Stockholm perform regarding becoming smarter, so the smart factor. And there we were slightly less. So I think we should look at today at what we can do to come out on top by making it a little bit smarter. And maybe, thanks to all the talks that we have seen so far, a lot smarter. So let's have a look. There are all kinds of factors, from smart parking, smart car sharing services, things we've looked at. And one of the things we've looked at is, start looking at, is the cyclist safety in traffic. So these cycles, when they are in traffic and when you have a street corner, there is danger. And so we want Petra to be safe and everybody else to be safe as a pedestrian. So alerting people to danger, what is going to happen, both cars, pedestrians, cyclists. This is not very easy. So cars today have sensors. We might have a sensor on these bikes, but if these sensors could speak to each other, could we do something to keep us safe? And we think we can do this. So there is the GIS data, there are models, there is 5G, there are sensors from us, and so we know where we are, and so we can make safe crossings, and maybe even in a wider scope. So this is a project that we're doing together, not only Stockholm University, where I'm from, and my colleagues, Erik Perjuns and Mohammed, also KTH, ITRL, SRI, and other organizations. So this is something that is very interesting, but it also leads in a wider scope, because if we know what is going on in a crossing, then if we commute from A to B, we had some presentations, then what is going on around us? We'd like to know that, and to help us. Probably you have seen this before when you, let's try this laser point, when you're at Helenelund, that you're wondering, what is going on around us? And this is a photograph of myself, so it's in real life, IRL. And I talked to a colleague this morning, and who was one of the speakers, and he said, yeah, what's going on around me? And he said, well, I'm on my way. That's what I know. And okay. So this is something I'd like to see G-City move into, also the things Klaus talked about. So, and then I think, what do we have right now? What's wrong with this picture, becoming smarter? Because what I have in my phone is something that we have over here. We have a lot of apps, and basically there is a lot of data around, but I have to figure out myself what I'm going to use to solve my problem. And often I don't even get that far because things change and I'm too late. So it's really hard to make things really smart. So I would like to have something that is automatic, and the automagic part that Petra is talking about is very important. So what I'd like to argue is in a different direction, to have something that forks into where Klaus was heading with his data and his visualization of the city, that we have this human-computer interaction which is automatic. I don't have to figure out which apps to connect because they organize themselves. They tell us via some automatic interface that we have mobile phones, we have other things, and they mediate automatically what we should know. I don't have to ask for it. And we talk to some smart function that assembles that information and gathers that information to an automatic function which tells us what to do, but also adapts things automatically to us. So in the crossing, we are alerted to danger. I don't have to have an app. I'm in traffic and I can ask for a service. So what does the city look like then? If we look into this direction, what could be the future? City of Stockholm, there could be more than meets the eye. When we walk around, there could things be telling us what to do, not only for traffic, but also for entertainment, tourism, telling us what we could do in a certain place, all automatic based on the open data that is shared from sensors. So there can be more than meets the eye in places. And I think that is an exciting thing, that what Klaus was talking about, it's not only in a computer and where we have a game interface, it could be something that is accessible to us where we are. It is even audio with oral communication. We have mobile phones, we have 2 ears, we can have something in 3D, in audio around us. And there are lots of possibilities with interaction. So the automagic city leads to some questions. If we are the interface to ambient intelligence, then this leads to some questions we can ask us. How do we interact with this? There are lots of choices, and it has to serve us, so it has to be natural interface. Then if we have these AI functions and they are in the background, so they become ambient intelligence, how do we equip things with some AI functions? How does it do that automatically? And how does AI move into networks? Because clearly the data has to travel from where it originates to us and back to those functions that have to adapt themselves and make clever choices. How do you retrofit something in extended reality? If you have new interfaces, then you can retrofit a city. But how do we do that? Is that something that is common? It is a new data layer? I like to think so. And because that's what also Klaus, in his important demonstration, shows us there can be a new data layer. It's a new bus of information that we can access to visualize, to adapt functions. And so if there is a new layer, then there is also some control. And I think nobody really addressed the question, but I think we have to think about who's in control of that data. And and who controls the people who are in control of the data. So it's, already the Romans were, there's a Roman poet who invented that. who guards the guardians. Okay. Anyway, so that's for the next conference. So I'd like to advocate that in Petra's excellent model with 4 layers, that I'd like to say invite you to think about an extra layer with extended reality, which is something that shares the data in a city, which is accessible for everything, and where we can visualize things, and where that drives the automatic functions, so extended reality. And it is driven by not only by data, but also ambient intelligence, which is another abbreviation of AI. So these are my conclusions then regarding the ranking. I think we can do excellently if we move in this direction with us at the center. There will be automatic agile experiences for us when things adapt to us, not only functions, but also the networks adapt to us, and we look to how data can drive that via AI functions. So decentralize AI to not only be in analytics, but also to go into things that do smart things. So the bicycle can do smart things, the crossing can do smart things. When we're at the station, we can get some service that does something for us. All that data is in a smart city and can be lead to an exciting development. From DSV SU, the Department of Computer and System Sciences, we love to cooperate with everybody. There are many students skilled in programming. We have digital media and game design labs. We have an interaction design program. We also have part of the infrastructure to work with intelligent functions in this open source environment for experimentation, mediasense.se. So this is what my conclusions then. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Theo. So now to the question.
Yes, the big one.
What would you as a citizen wish for in an automagic city?
Yes, the first thing, I think there were a few people who were thinking about this, is when I go from A to B, I'm often puzzled, and now I would like to have, to know what my options are in every instance, what's going on around me. If I could just be aware of that, then I would be calmer, and I would have not stress, as somebody said before. When I'm in a car, when I'm commuting, then I know, and that will be great.
That's really great. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
So now we know what we shall deliver in a couple of years then.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Theo.
Okay, thank you.